Alright, guys, so I'm coming to you from Balaclava here in St. Elizabeth. Balaclava, St. Elizabeth. And today I will be touring the grounds of the St. Luke's Church here in Balaclava. But as you can notice, the church was damaged by the recent passing of Hurricane Melissa. Hurricane Melissa. The sign was here, St. Luke's Church. It was blown away. You can see the church over there, the top of the main part of the church where first persons worship. Most of it was torn down. We go over to the church. We'll see more. The community of Balaclava, the country is slowly getting back together after the hurricane. And you see it's going to take some money to restore a lot of things. So we're heading over on the property of the church here. You can see the part of the church here. Let me show the sign. Oh, I soon get to it. The sign that was blown off. So you can see here this part of the church still stands. Some part of it was damaged. You can see a tarpaulin was placed there. And this is a very old church. A very old church. The smell of the old wood was used to build the church. You can see that the hurricane ripped off the bell tower. I assume that's the bell tower, still standing. A portion of the door still open. And this is inside of the church. You can see only the speaker box right there. I'm sure that's not good again because of the passing rain and everything since the place fell apart. The entire roof fell down. The entire roof fell down. I know, but this hurricane did some serious damages to church. I don't know what Melissa had against church, but it did some serious damages to churches across the island. For those of you who are watching my channel, you would see the damage that Melissa did to the churches that I've shown you. So check out those churches on the channel here. So I'll assume up here would be the altar. All desecrated by natural disaster. So this here is probably where you find the priests would stand up. And they didn't even come here and say, let me take these out and keep them somewhere safe, at least until the church is restored. And the thing about natural disaster is that it doesn't care whether you are religious or not. Natural disaster is just natural disaster. Here it says, there's a plaque here on the wall. It says, "To the glory of God and in memory of Charles Fang, who died December 16, 1939, the lighting plant of this church was the gift of his widow." So, gift of his widow in 1942. But I'm sure George Fang's widow is also dead. So, this is um, the program of this lady. You know, up here, this is where the minister, whomever is gonna speak to the congregation, will come. Then you have up here, you rest the Bible here, and you can look down at the congregation. Wow, wow, wow. So this is inside St. Luke's Anglican Church here in Balaclava. This church is gonna need some serious money for restoration. This appears to have been what? Maybe it was a musical instrument. Let me see if I can lift it up. Yes, indeed. So a piano. I wonder if it still works. No. Oh, it doesn't. Let's try to fix it the way it was. So this is ruined. This is also ruined. I think not to imagine the rain that comes after. It exposed so much to the rain and the sun. Right, so this is inside the church. I'm going back out. So when was this church built? You know, when was this church built? I was looking around the church. This is the back. This is the back of the church. Lovely windows. The windows are still intact. This window. I was looking around the church and I saw this, where it says 1897. This was chiseled here over 129 years ago now. 1897. They do this either when the church start building or maybe when the church was completed. So you're looking at a very old church here in Balaclava, St. Elizabeth. 1897, that was when Queen Victoria, was still reigning in England. Was such a different time at that time here in Balaclava. And of course, no one who was alive then is alive now. So, as you know, when I visit a church, I tour an old church like this. I tour the grounds of the church and I read the graves just to document them and help those who are not in the island or far away to find the grave of their loved ones, see them again, or just to know more about the church. There are some graves down here. Let me see how many of them. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. I think it's nine of them here. And they are all designed the same way. They're designed the same way. I think it's 11. 11 of them I'm seeing now. And here is this thing here, this monument, and it says, "To the glory of God and in memory of those who lost their lives in the railway accident of 30th July 1938 at Oxford." So this is saying this thing here was built in the memory of those who lost their lives on July 30, 1938 at Oxford, and they lost their lives in a railway accident. There it is. You can read it for yourself. You can pause the video and look at it for yourself there. And I believe these were the victims. These were the victims of the railway accident in 1938 at Oxford. And I look at the other side of the monument and I see some names. It says names: Rosalind Henry, John W. Johnson, Euthilda Jones, and it goes on. Cleopatra King. I'm gonna go right down there, right there. In that railway accident on July 30, 1938 at Oxford 17. And I believe these are some of them. These are some of those victims. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I see 11 here, so maybe the others were buried somewhere else. And you don't know who is who. They don't have any name on them. It's been a long time now, almost 100 years since that railway accident. You know, I've never heard about that accident. And in those days, it was the railway. All right, so behind the church, and I hope they gather enough money to fix back this roof, you know, because this church is filled with a lot of history, you know. Have some small tank, look like they fill them up now. So we're heading over now to the graveyard of the church. This is the resting place of It says, in memory of Beatrice Greer's son, Nee Powell, born June 18, 1911, died March 8, 1977. So June 18, 1911 to March 8, 1977. Beatrice. This is the resting place of Susan E. Powell. She died December 12, 1969 at age 87. Maybe she was the mother of Beatrice. Oh. Vera Ramsey. That's Vera Ramsey. She died the 20th of February 1969 at age 65. Vera Ramsey. There's a grave over there, but there's nothing on it to read. Matilda Newman. That's Matilda Newman, who left us on March 4, 1969. I'm not sure if I can read this. It seems to be all rubbed out. I'm not able to read that. Clementina Williams died the 25th of the 4th, 1969 at age 74. That's Clementina Williams. Adeline Vervin. That's right, Adeline Vervin. I've never heard the last name Vervin. Vervin. Adeline Vervin died January 13, 1982. This is the resting place of not sure who that is. This is the resting place of Thomas McBee. Thomas Mac. Oh. Don't know if I've read this before. Matilda Newman, March 4, 1969. This is the grave of Arnold Gordon, born the 10th of the 12th, 1909, died the 28th of the 8th, 1998. And there's another name, Martha Gordon, born the 29th of the 4th, 1918, died the 7th of the 10th, 2006. So these are husband and wife, Arnold Gordon and Martha Gordon. Colonel died first. He died like 8 years before her. A.M. Harry Rodgers. So that's A.M. Harry Rodgers. Born the 9th of May 1894. Died the 18th of July 1952. Leaving wife Clarice and son Calvin. Georgiana Thompson. That's Georgiana Thompson. Died the 11th of May 1961. They say, in loving memory of our dear mother, Georgiana Thompson. She died May 11, 1961. This is Gifford N. Atkinson. Gifford N. Atkinson, a dear husband and father, died January 4, 1966, age 38. Oh, you died young, Gifford. Monica Cockburn. Monica. She was born 1937 and she died 1948. You can see the grave is short. So this was a child. Oh, Dulcie. She died the 21 of the 8th, 1978 at age 39. Sydney Marbletop Cuff. So that's Sydney Marbletop Cuff, who departed this life February 15, 1954. Sydney Marbletop Cuff. They love Sydney. His grave is grilled around. Gifford Ramsey. October 10, 1896, and he died on the 28th of February 1950. So he was like about 53 years old. Gifford M. Ramsey. In loving memory of Jane Hanson, and she was called Michi, died in the Balaclava train crash the 31st July 1938, age 29. Okay, so she was one of the victims in the Balaclava train crash. Jane Hanson. She was called Michi, and she was young. She was just 25 years old. A 25-year-old girl going on a train, and it crashed, killing her at age 25. This is one of the victims of the Balaclava train crash. This says, in loving memory of Vincent A. Beckford, who died on March 10, 1937, age 24. Another young person, Vincent. Vincent Beckford died at age 24 on March 10, 1937. This is a baby grave. It's a baby. This is a baby's grave. This is the resting place of Vernon Albert Beckford. Died the 10th of June, 1980, maybe 1983. Let's see if I can figure this out. I think it's 1983. Could it be 1988? Mrs. Vera Taylor, born the 29th October 1912, died the 26th July 1960. Vera Taylor. This is Vera Taylor. Could this be her husband over here, right above her? Could be. In loving memory of a dear brother and father, Harold S. Taylor. Died February 8th, 1967, age 60. So he died 6 years after Vera right there. He died at age 60. Could be husband and wife. Now look at these two graves. There's nothing on them to read. I'm gonna go back over here. Oh, oh. Jemima Young. Jemima Young. Lord. Can't figure out when Jemima born, when Jemima died. Like 1880 to 1942. Jemima Young. Normally when you hear the word Young, the surname Young, you think of a Chinese. This grave is tilting and there's nothing on it. If you look under this grave, you notice these are graves that were buried in the dirt. You see? They were buried in the dirt. Which is okay. I think that's the best way if you think about it. Rosalind Miller, born the 5th, I'm going to say it my way, born March 5, 1902, and died February 27, 1980. Rosalind Miller. I wonder what Rosalind was like as a person. I know these coconut trees were blown over here by hurricane, Melissa. E. Alan King, 1898 to 1993. He was almost 100. And there's another name on it over there, Gladys K. King, 1903 to 1985. Husband and wife. So Alan King, born before his wife and died after his wife. He lived a long life. He was almost 100 when he died. This grave all the way up here, and I say all the way up here, you can see the church way down there. So it's the grave way up here in the corner, and it says Joseph Senior, 1901 to 1974. Joseph Senior. This grave was tiled up. Over time, the name rubbed out. Nice grave over here also, up in the corner. Well, this is not a corner, but way up in the end here. And it's the grave of Vernon Selburn. Vernon Selburn Robinson. Born 28 March 1932, died the 18th July 1969. Let me see this one. Samuel T. Johns. Born the 6th July 1890, died the 15th November 1962. Born 1890, died 1962. Samuel Johns. Oh, Samuel Johns. Ethelyn Adina Johns. So that's Ethelyn Adina Johns. Probably the wife of Samuel Johns. I think so. Born the 26th June 1897, died the 24th September 1975. So she lived for some years after her husband, Ethelyn Adina Johns. That was. And this is Doris May Sr. Doris May Sr. Born, I'm going to say it my way, born uh, September 23, 1911, died February 3, 1994. Doris May Sr. There were some graves here, but the bush falls on them. So they're out of my reach. Look at my feet right now. Look at that. Filled with a lot of what we call burr. We call them burr here in Jamaica. Mary E. Davis died the 1st of June 1933, age 84. So she was born way back in the 1850s. She died all the way back in 1933. Mary E. Davis. Maybe this was her husband. All torn off. Don't know who that was. Here is a grave headstone. It's broken off. Trying to read. I don't think I can read that. It's rubbed out. Edgar Foster, born the 12th March 1904, died May 19, he died in May 1949. So Edgar Foster, 1904 to 1949. Edgar Foster. What a different time it is now from 1949 when Edgar died. Huh? All of these individuals were once walking around with names, you know. Angelina Cuff, born the 15th of March, 1857, that's 1857, died the 18th of December 1926. Angelina Cuff. She's probably related to a Cuff that I read earlier on. And way back then, they grilled around her grave with these expensive grills. Expensive. Jabez King. Jabez King. December. He died on December 28, 1940. Jabez King. Mrs. Ellen King, who departed this life on the 1st of August 1960. So this is probably the wife. This is probably the wife. And that's the husband, Jabez King and Ellen King. Over here, we have the grave of Jacob da Costa Taylor. Jacob da Costa Taylor died 13th of November 1918, age 35. Jacob da Costa Taylor. At age 35, he was in 1918 when he died. Jane Denton. Jane Denton died 1922, age 86. Thomas R. Sanders died 1914, age 94. Thomas R. Sanders. He was 94 in 1914, which means that he was born like about 1820. Am I right? Hope I'm right. Yeah, 1820. In this grilled up area here, we found the resting place of Harriet Tennyson Armstrong. So that's Harriet Tennyson Armstrong, who departed into rest June 11th, 1914. That's a long time. My God. That's a long time. That's a long time. Oh, my word. Edith Cuff. Cuff with an E at the end. Edith M. Cuff died July 5, 1941. They say in loving memory of our dear mother, Edith M. Cuff, died July 5th, 1941. Do you think her children could still be alive? I doubt it. In loving memory of Madeline A. Ainsworth. That's Madeline. Yes. Madeline A. Ainsworth. That's Ainsworth. Ainsworth. She died on October 31, 1938. Oh, this grave was all grilled around. The grill had rotted away. Let me see if I can. Hmm. This is the grave of A.J. Isaacs. That's A.J. Isaacs. Died the 24th of April, 1925. And he was born December 2, 1861. So he was born December 2, 1861 and died April 24, 1925. A.J. Isaacs. Guy Finlayson. Guy Finlayson. Have you ever heard that last name before? That surname? Guy Finlayson? I think some of these individuals came from England, because at that time Jamaica was owned by Britain. He was born 1885 and he died in 1945. Some of these individuals did not live born in Jamaica. Uh-uh. Louis A. Parcells. Parcells. He died on June 23, 1956. The resting place of Eva Darthia, Darthia R. Scott. Eva Darthia R. Scott. Nee Martinson. So she was born Eva Martinson. That's Eva Martinson. And she married to a Mr. R. Scott. She was born December 21, 1919, and she died December 17, 1982. And this is her husband, right beside her, Ivan Jocelyn R. Scott, born the 8th of October 1901, and he died May 5, 1973. So he died before Eva. He was way older than her. He was 18 years older than her. This is the resting place of Kenneth. It says, in loving memory of Kenneth, eldest son of F.H. and M. Ferguson, died November 8, 1927, at age 31. He died young. Kenneth Ferguson. At age 31, he died in 1927. my God, the sun is very hot out here. The sun is very hot. I want to go over there. How can I find myself over here now? It's like another family plot inside the graveyard here. This is the grave of Roberta Josephine Sherman. Died June 27, 1933, age 93. Roberta Josephine Sherman. And I believe this is her husband, Samuel Joseph Sherman. Died September 20, 1924, age 61. This is the grave of Eva Marie R. Scott. She died June 25, 1935, at age 76. Have you seen your great grandparents yet? For those who are watching, have you seen your great grandparents yet? Or somebody from your family tree? Lavinia Roberts, Nee Sherman. So she was born Lavinia Sherman and she married to a Roberts. She was affectionately called Molly. Born March 28, 1868, died January 28, 1962. All right. This is the grave of Imogen King Lindsay. That's Imogen King Lindsay. Born, born August 22, 1896. Died October 21st, 1958. And she was 63 years old. This is too rubbed out for me to read. I don't know if I can pronounce this name. It's a Larimer Parnell. I could be wrong. Larimer Parnell. She was born July 11, 1905. She died August 30, 1963. In loving memory of Myrtle M. McFarlane, Nee Parnell. So she was born Myrtle Parnell before she married to before she married to a McFarlane. And she died on February 20, 1998 at age 94. On the other side it says in loving memory of Noel Randolph Parnell. Died September 7, 1979 at age 67. So is this her husband or her father? I don't know. Because if she was Nee Parnell, when you say Nee, it means previously. Viola Millicent Parnell, another Parnell, born the 15th of July 1908, died December 19, 1963. Edward Aubrey Turner, he died February 5, 1979. And on the other side is Lillian Aubrey Turner, July 11, 1980. So they're husband and wife because say in loving memory of our parents. In memory of a beloved husband and father, David S. Webster. Webster. David Webster died March 3, 1975, age 74. David Webster. Gwendolyn Cole. Okay, so no, let me pronounce this properly. Gwendolyn Victoria Cole. She was born on March 25, 1919, and she died on June 16, 2004. I see at the top here, I see Demetrius, and then I see the some pictures here, like their wedding photos, their wedding photo. So as for Alvin, he was born on April 18, 1930, and he died on February 16, 2016. And as for Betsy, she was born July 4, 1938, and she died July 5, 2001. So Betsy died before her husband. So that's Alvin and Betsy Demetrius or Demetrius. Lovely wedding photograph they have there. Randall George Falconer. That's Randall George Falconer. September 3, 1911 to August 7, 1995. And you have Vidina May Louise Falconer. September 2, 1916 to February 14, 2004. Husband and wife, Randall and Vidina. Husband and wife over here also, Edwin T. Rooms. 1905 to 2003. And his wife, Vera Imogen Rooms. 1913 to 2016. Rooms. How do I get over in these now? Thought they have some kind of gate that you can go through. Or maybe I read these already. I'm not sure. Alright, so I got inside. Says Nora. That's Nora Parnell. December 28th to December. Oh, hold on. She died December 28th, 1948. December 28, 1948, she died at age 54. James Anderson Parnell. This is the husband. He died on January 26, 1954, at age 78. James and his wife Nora. This is the grave of W.O.R. Lofthouse. That's all they put there. W.O.R. Lofthouse. And beside he may have W.O.R. Lofthouse again. So in loving memory of W.O.R. Lofthouse, which is the same person they're talking over here. Born 1873, died 1952. And then they say, and his beloved wife, Ellen, born 1875, died 1971. So that's Lofthouse, and this is the grave of his wife, Ellen. But they put the information on his wife's grave. All the information on his wife's grave. This big grave, I think it has more than one, I know, has more than one casket underneath there. Philip Lee, 1898 to 2003. Philip Lee, June 26, 1898, and he died on February 23, 2003. And his wife, Myrtle Lee, born February 15, 1929, died September 6, 2009. Husband and wife. Ina Mae Mitchell, Sunrise March 16, 1929, and died September 29, 2002. She was almost 100 years old, Ina Mae Mitchell. She had about like 4 years to make it to a centenarian when she died. Edmond Mullins died July 17, 1977. Edmond Mullins. Clementina Anderson, 1908 to 1987. Hubert Stanford Anderson, husband and father, died October 12, 1970, age 67. This is the resting place of Florence Morris. That's Florence Morris. Nee Bennett. So she was born Florence Bennett and she married to a Morris. She died on June 4, 1968, and she was born in 1878. Balaclava. There's a lot of history here in Balaclava, St. Elizabeth. Sutcliffe Jones, JP, 1906 to 1998. Ivy Louise Jones. She was 62 years old when she died on February 2, 1972. Evelyn Jones. Evelyn Jones, she was called Mama Lynn. She died on December 16, 1979. She was born in 1905. I guess this is her husband, Sidney L. Jones. He was called, what, Sidos? He died September 1993. He was born 1909. Let me read this one up here. Myrtle Rebecca Robinson. Uh, she was born 1935. That's January 3, 1935, and she died on February 19, 1986. Bernice Morris, born August 24, 1923, died January 19, 1997. Bernice Morris. This is the resting place of Gwendolyn Robinson. Gwendolyn Robinson, born the 14th of the 10th, 1923, died the 9th of the 10th, 1995. Born in October, died in October. The photograph here of husband and wife. And the names are David Augustus. I don't know what this is. Ennis or Dennis. She was born 1921. She died 2008, and he died 2004. Let me go up here. This is another Morris. Audley Earl Morris. And there's another name. So Audley Earl Morris, he was born 1927, died 1997. Ainsley Hyacinth. No, that's not Ainsley. That's Aisley. Aisley Hyacinth. 1932, 2018. So the husband and wife, um, Audley and Hyacinth Morris. You have some grave down there that I did not look at. This is the resting place of Muriel C. Salmon. Muriel C. Salmon, nee Parry. So she was born Muriel Parry before she married to a Mr. Salmon. She was born in 1920 and she died on May 25, 2007. There's a grave up here. Oh my god, my feet are gonna get so bored up right now. This is the grave of two persons, husband and wife, I believe, in loving memory of Charles Augustus Samuels, born March 18, 1914, died October 5, 2002. Then you have Lydian Mavis Samuels, January 20, 1920 to September 15, 2014. And they say sadly missed. So this is wife and husband, the Samuels. Charles and his wife Lydian Samuels. I say to the people who own this church, don't let it fall apart. Raise the money, fix it, so it can be here over another 100 years. You know, Enid Winifred Johns. So that's Enid Winifred Johns. I think there's two names here. Yes. You say in loving memory of Lynette May Johns, Knight, September 10, 1925 to March 3, 1985. And then you have Enid Winifred Johns, September 15, 1922 to October 26, 2002. Our beloved sister's mother and aunt. So there's two women buried here, Lynette and Enid. I can't recall if I've read this grave. Over here we have the resting place of Sylvia Isoline Cuff, 1923 to 2004. And here we have Edith Louise Robinson, July 2, 1900 to November 24, 1984. Here we have Millian A. I believe that's Cuff, 1916 to December 12, 2007. So that's March 23, 1916 to December 12, 2007. This grave is all the way down here. Claude Roy Watson, Claude Roy Watson, 1911 to 1982. And below that we see Ina May Watson, 1914 to 1998. Husband and wife, Claude and Ina. Uh, this is the resting place of Vinton R. McFarlane. Vinton R. McFarlane, April 18, 1927 to August 8, 1995. Francis McFarlane. Francis McFarlane, 1870. All right. Born on April 23, 1873. Died April 14, 1974. She was almost no, she was almost 101. She made it to 100 though. John McFarlane, born April 6, 1863, died June 8, 1957. I believe this is the husband and this is the wife. So she lived some years after her husband's death. Mary E. Fung. Did I read this already? I don't know. Mary E. Fung died on the 10th of August 1930. Is that 30 or 50? It looked like 1931 at Balaclava, age 81 years. She died here in Balaclava. In loving memory of our dear father, Charles A.D. Fung, who died on the 18th of December 1939 at Balaclava, Jamaica, West Indies, age 74. Okay, so if this is erected by his widow, that means this might have been 1950. Oh, I don't know. Let's move on. If I find the record, I'll straighten that up. We're here at the resting place of Gwendolyn Watson. She died on June 17, 1947, age 31. This is the grave of Ann Watson. Died on August 5, 1944, age 61. I'm in the final section here of the graveyard. And here we are at the grave of Madge Yvonne Henry. That's Madge Yvonne Henry. She was born on July 1, 1942, and she died on November 10, 2014. Madge Yvonne Henry, July 1, 1942 to November 10, 2014. This is the resting place of Nessa Luleta Sr. She was born on February 3, 1936, and she died on December 24, 2022. Nissa Luleta Sr. There's a grave here. Somebody's gonna be buried. A body is gonna be buried here soon. Um, that's ready for it to come now. Hasn't come yet. This is the grave of Al Algina Atkinson, Mama, 1930 to 2022. And Mabel Elma Beckford, 1920 to 2018. Mabel Elma Beckford. Her grave is tall. There's another tall grave here, which means that they haven't gone down into the ground with it. There are two individuals here. Joyce Blake, December 12, 1920, December 12, 1927 to November 29, 2017, and that's her there. Joyce Blake. And then that's her husband beside her, Clifton Blake, June 18, 1931 to February 12, 2019. Husband and wife here, Joyce and Clifton. Joyce and Clifton. So the both of them grave coffin are inside of this. That's what I would understand from it. This is the resting place of Gwendolyn Linton. Sunrise, the 28th of the 10th, 1933 to the 1st of the 5, that's May 1st, 2014. And they wrote on it, may the Lord, no, may the work I've done and the life I've lived speak for me. Gwendolyn Linton. This is the resting place of Gwens Robert Minto. Gwens? No. Or is it Lewins? Lewins. Okay, that's the name there. Robert Minto. 1918 to 2021. This is the resting place of Amy Minto. Could be the wife of that person over there, of Robert Minto. So Amy Minto, 1918 to 2010. So she died first. The both of them were born in 1918. And this is the resting place of Leopold Adolphus. That's it, Leopold Adolphus Parcells, 1914 to 2009, and Vida Hyacinth Parcell. Parcell is up at the top there. Parcells. Parcells at the top. So Vida Hyacinth Parcell, born April 30, 1931, and she died November 3, 2012. Husband and wife. There's a little grave here. Obviously the grave of a child. And it says Maya Clear. That's Maya Clear. December 9, 2007 to February 18, 2009. It's a young child there. Maya Clear. Raylor Constantine Johnson, aka Shangal, born the 29th of the 8th, 1936, died the 9th of the 12th, 2013. Alright, so oh, here's a little baby grave here too. Let me see if I've read it before. I don't know if I can pronounce this name. I think it says Dwade Forbes. Dwade, that's the name there. December 14, 2013, and died January 31, 2000. December 14, 2013, and died January 31, 2014. So born in 2013, died 2014. Alright guys, so that comes to the end of my video here at St. Luke's Anglican Church here in Balaclava, St. Elizabeth. Hope you have enjoyed this video. I know that grave videos are not my most popular videos on the channel, but I have to keep up with how I set this channel up. Reading cemeteries, documenting cemeteries and graveyards are part of what I do here at Jamaican chapter. So here from St. Luke's Anglican Church here in Balaclava, St. Elizabeth, I say thanks for watching, and I see you again in another interesting video like this.